Hello and welcome back to Concept First to Mastery. In this particular section, we'll be looking at HTML media elements. So these are third module. We've done module one, module one, and module two. So if you have missed out on that, you can check the description, right, for links to those resources. Now, we advise that you actually walk through that before moving into this. So we want to look at how to work with media elements. So without wasting time, this is what we are going to be building, right? Just to learn how to work with images, not just rendering images and videos, but at the same time also making sure that they are well optimized, right? It's another thing to render these things, another thing for them not to be well optimized. So I'm going to be talking about some of those things. And as the practice is, right, we'll first of all walk through, don't forget, it's all about concept first to mastery. So first of all, walk through what these things are, then we'll implement what we have here to wrap up on that, right? So let's get into that without wasting time. The objective here is to incorporate multimedia elements into web pages, right? So what are multimedia elements? So HTML actually provides us with several media elements to embed and display various type of media content. So when we talk about media elements, we are talking about images, right? We're talking about audios, we're talking about videos, right? And every other thing that that surrounds that. So key concepts that relates to media elements. So the first thing is that, of course, we are talking about HTML. So you need to be aware of the elements that are used, right, to actually render such media content. For instance, when you want to render image, right, you use the image tag img, right, image tag img. So the image tag is used to embed images in web pages, right? So it has attributes such as source attribute. So without, I don't want this to just be like we are reading and all that. So what I will do here is let me quickly set up the project so that as I'm explaining this, I can also type in some code before we start building what we want to build quickly. So I'll just go, what we are going to do is this time around, I'm going to use the command prompt, right, to start the project. So I know that I've not been using it before, but it's also part of what you are learning, right, as a programmer, how to work with command prompt. So here we have CD. CD means change directory. So I want to go into the folder that represents the project, right? So what I'm going to do here, I just want to be sure that we can start our project from the command prompt this time around, right? So this is, don't forget, this is the project that represents what we are doing currently, right? So what we can do here is to just, okay, let's just start from here. So I'll just create the folder that says of course, we can also do it from the command prompt if I really HTML basis. So let me just walk through that so that it will also show you how to do that. So here I will just say cd into desktop, right? Because that's where the project lives, right? Cd into desktop, right? What I mean by that is that all this is on my desktop, right? So cd into desktop, and the name of the folder I want to check into is HTML. Let me check that. HTML_basics, right? So that's the name of the project. So I'm in there. So what I want to do is that inside there, I want to create, if you check what is here, right? I have task 1, task 2, which are the projects that we've completed. So I want to create a new project, right? Which will be, I'll just say mkdir. That's the command to make a project, to make a new folder, right? I'll just say task 3 this time around. So automatically that creates the folder for me. Nothing is inside, but I can I can change into that directory, task 3, right? Then once I'm done with that, I can just open that project, right? Don't forget that this part already shows you that I'm already inside that project. So I can just use code dots, right? Which is a shortcut for opening the project in the VS Code, right? I'll just take code dot and I will open that. So that will open up the project for me, right? So right now you can see that this is the project, but there is nothing inside. So what we can do is, as a practice, is we just create a root file, index.html, right? That's our root file. So from here, we can now begin to use some shortcuts, right? I told you about the use of emix. Initially, I wasn't using it because we are just starting, but now I'll start using that. So you can just say exclamation mark here, And if you look at here, you already see emit abbreviation, and this is what you are going to get. So instead of typing all this myself, I just want this to be given to me. So I'll just say this, and you see that I didn't have to type that all myself, right? So here we can just change the title to can just say learn to work with media elements, right? So that's what it's all about. So other details that can go in here, I'll just leave that for now. So here we'll now start working with the media element. And I've said that when we start, it comes to images, right? What we use is IMG, right? This IMG is self-closing, meaning that you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. They're now saying IMG. So you don't have to do this. It's self-closing. So just say IMG, then you close it like that. So this image requires a source attribute for it to work, right? SRC. So without the source attribute, no image will show. And this will represent the path to the image you want to display. Then you also have the alt attribute, which is the alternate text that allows in a situation whereby the image will not be displayed, right? You still want to show something, right? For either screen readers or for those who are accessing the application to know what the image represents, even though it's broken or it's not showing, right? So that will be the alternate text. So that's it about working with images. Then we also have other attributes that can be assigned, such as the height and width. For instance, you want to adjust the height and width of the image so that it's not too big, right? You can have the height attribute, and you can also set the width attribute. So height attribute and width attribute. So those are the common attributes that you have on images. I'll still talk about some more when we start talking about image optimization, right? So that's it with working with images. And here is an example, right, of how you will present an image gallery. So you can see that I have a div here with a class of image gallery, and I have 2 images here. So you can have many more images here. And you can already imagine what is going on here. So I have a div, right, with many images, right, that should be displayed, and they are just styled. That's what is going on there. So in the next one, we have working with audio media elements, right? So audio elements is used to embed audio files in a web page. So there are times that you want to embed audio files in a web page. So the element you're using is audio. So it supports attributes like SRC controls. So this control is actually used to add playback controls. Just like when you're working with any video, there will be controls for you to play back, for you to pause and all that. So you also have an attribute called auto play, right, which automatically starts the play button. If you notice here, you see that these ones, if I were to refresh, they will be playing without. Let me refresh the page, right? They will be playing without starting them. So can you see that this is playing? This is on auto start, and this is playing. All these are playing, right? That's because of that attributes that I have on them. Then so this is just how to work with it, and I'm going to show you that. So audio, you place the control attribute on the audio, right? Then you also the source, which is the usually you have the source element, which is always goes into the audio element, and that is where you actually set the path to the audio file, and the type. You also set the type of the audio. In this case, is audio MP3, right? You also display this message in case that the device of the person does not support that, right? So you also have this custom message that will be shown. Working with video element also, which is another type of media multimedia element, right? So it has attributes. The basic thing is just the attributes, right? Once you know the element, image, IMG, audio, video, then the attribute. This one also have controls. Then for the video, you can also set the width. So in this case, I'm setting it to 400, right? The source attribute also go in there where you set the source, the path to the video, right? And also the type, in this case, is video MP4. Then this custom message, in case this is not supported by the person's device or the browser, right? So media optimization of media elements. So this is very, very important. So the first one I want to talk about is the alt. I think I've mentioned that already, but I'll just mention it again. So alt attribute for images to ensure accessibility for users with disabilities. So that's basically what the alt attribute is meant for. Then title attribute for additional image descriptions and tooltips. Usually you have the title attribute on them so that when you hover on it, you can know what that image is all about, right? I'll still talk about caption and figures too, right? So another thing you want to talk about aside alt elements, you also have lazy loading of elements, right? Lazy loading simply means that you are not lazy, you are not loading all the media until they come in view, right? So what that means is that if I have a screen like this, right, these ones should not be loaded until they are in view. For instance, I'm here now. Those ones underneath should not be loaded yet because they are not in view. Then when I scroll down, they should now be loaded. So I will still restart this so that you see that behavior, right? But because I've loaded this already, they are already here, right? That's why you're not seeing that behavior. But by the time I'm doing that one and we are presenting, you will see that, okay, even if I refresh, I think you should still see that if I refresh and come down, so you see that as I'm coming down, that's when they are loading. So they are not loaded like until they are in view. That's what that means. So lazy loading attribute for images and iframes. Lazy loading helps load media content only when it comes into users viewport, which is what I just explained. Improves page load performance. Just imagine that you have many, maybe you're working with an e-commerce app and where you have many images, right? You wouldn't want to load 1,000 images at once. So you want to only load as the user screen and scrolls and those screens are brought into view, right? So this is how you work with lazy loading. It's just the loading attribute and you put lazy. So that's your loading lazy. That will automatically ensure that that image is lazy loaded, right? Then we also have the poster attribute. Don't forget that all these things I'm mentioning are just optimization for media contents. So poster, I've talked about setting the alt attribute. I've talked about setting the title attribute, right? As for additional image and tooltips. I've talked about lazy loading, right? Now we are looking at poster attribute for videos. So there are times that the video you are trying to present will not load immediately, right? And you just want something to cover up before it's loaded. And that's what you notice here. I have the cover of my I have my the cover, right, for this particular image as the default before this is loaded. So if I refresh this now, you see that the image can you see now? So this is what I had as my cover image just before the images are presented. So that's what we mean by poster image. And this is how you do it. You just say video control, then poster attribute, then you set the path to the poster that you want to use. So once the screen is displayed and the video is not ready, the poster will be displayed. But once the video is ready, the video will take over, right? So these are little things that are important when it comes to optimizing media images, right? Media contents. So you can also add subtitles, right? Add tracks if you need to subtitle a particular video that you're working with. So what the attribute, the element you're using is track, and you set some of the attributes on it. You have the kind attribute, right, where you set the subtitle. You have the source attribute where you point to the what's it called now, the subtitle file. Then you have the language the source language. So this is something to English, the label is English. So this is just trying to show you how to work with subtitles and set them properly, right? So then talking about figures, right? We also talk about figures because if you see some of these images I use figures. For instance, here this is figure in action. So this now is having a title underneath, this having a title underneath because this is a figure. The other ones are not because I didn't use figure. Right here, you can see that this is also using figure. Right, and how you do that is very simple. Okay, which I'll be showing you also by the time we're implementing what we have to implement, right? So benefits of using figure. So when it comes to semantic, right, that is the meaning, right, in terms of meaning. So figure element is specifically designed to group media content like images, diagrams, or illustrations with their captions, just like I've shown you, right? Making your HTML more meaningful and easier to understand. Like here now, I already know what this is all about, right? Because of the caption there. Um, then accessibility to for screen readers, right, with disabilities, so they can easily the screen reader can easily read and interpret what the media is all about by just reading the caption to them. SEO to proper semantic SEO is search engine optimization, right, for Google and other search bots to be able to index your content very well. So proper semantic HTML can help search engines understand the content of your page better, right? So this potentially improve your search ranks. Then styling and layout. So very important to with figure and fig caption. It also allows you to really style your content. Then I think basically that's what we just want to capture in terms of working with media and multimedia images. So now let's go on to actually uh, let's go on to presenting what we have currently, right? So that we can wrap this up and move on to the next thing. So what we just want to do is this is going to be very quick because we already know most of the things that we have to work with. So here I'm just going to have heading one, right? And that's going to just say image image gallery image gallery, right? So you can also join me, right? Make sure you code along because that's the best way to learn. So we also have the, and don't forget if you like this video and you would love to see more and more and be the first to be notified, subscribe first, then don't forget to click on the notification bell and also share some click on the like button so that more persons can also see this video, right? Thank you. Now let's go to this. We have class of image. Don't forget the reason why we are using class is just so that we can style things. HTML in itself will not really make this pretty, right? We already know the use of HTML, but then the CSS is what beautifies what we are working with. So here we're just going to have image, IMG, and this is going to be the shape. We have SRC, then we also have we have the auth, right? We have the auth. I've talked about these attributes. Then we have the lazy. I'll just say loading, then lazy, right? So that we are optimizing this particular image when it's being loaded because we are working with image gallery. So that's pretty straightforward, right? The next thing is just to replicate this and point to the appropriate files, right? So let me just show three first, then I will add the rest to A. So that's it with this section. I will add the image eventually, then other stuff. Then let's go to the other part of the stuff, which is let me just say heading. I don't want to use heading one here. Okay, let's say for this section, by using heading one, there should be only one heading one on the page and not heading two. So let me just use heading two here. Uh, so we can have heading one that just says probably working with multimedia elements, right? So, of course, just like the way I've always been saying, we can group this into section, right? Where we are saying this goes into a section, which represents the image gallery, right? Then this one goes into another section, which represents the video. So those are the two that we are really focusing on. Then this one will be video, video gallery, right? So underneath here we'll have again we have that D that represents so we have that, right? And here we have a class so that we can easily style. We have the class attribute, well, we have the class attribute, right? And that is going to be video gallery. Then inside here, we just say, okay, how do we represent videos? We are working with videos, right? So what we just need to do is use the the video elements, right? Just a video. Then ensure that the basic attributes that are needed are added to it. So first, we need the controls, which allows you to have control, right? Like fast forward, stop, pause, and all that. So that's all you need there. Then I also want to set it to autoplay. Autoplay simply means that I want it to start playing immediately without playing myself, right? Then I want it to be muted, meaning that I don't want it to sing out or to voice out its content. Then poster, I spoke about poster, right? I also want to set the poster. That's like what I want to use as default image, right? Before the content, the video itself starts to play. Then after that, I also want inside this particular place, you have the source. So where you can actually point to the location of the video file. So here the source is going to be SRC and it will just point to the location. I will bring in all those things, right? And we'll point to them. Then the type is going to be, in this case, this is going to be video slash MP4, right? Video slash MP4. Um, then here we just put that custom message so that if this is not the browser, the person's browser is not supported, you have that message. Your browser does not support, right? The video uh the video tag. So let's just have it that way. So all we need then is, since this is a class, don't forget we just start it once and everything goes to play. All we then need is to duplicate this and point to the different images that we want to point to, right? So what I will do here is quickly I'll bring in the image file, right? So here I'm going to have a folder called assets. I'm going to have a folder called assets, right? So inside there is where I'm going to have all those things that I'll be using. So first I'm going to have inside there also I'm going to have another folder inside the asset. I'm going to call it V. So for the video assets, right? Then the other ones I'll just drop them, the images I'll drop them in the asset folder directly, right? So yeah, basically that's just it, right? So let me quickly bring in the image so that we can start working. And if you also want to get images, right, you can go to pixel pixels, right? Yeah, pixels images. So once you go here, you'll be able to download free images, right? You can download free images from here. Um, because that's where I also downloaded from. So, but for the sake of time, I'll quickly bring in that. All right, so you will notice that I have those contents here now, right? Properly labeled. What you can do also is to just if you I will drop the link, the GitHub link, right, to this source code. And if you just want to make use of these images and this result passes to, it will be there for you to use. So let's quickly point to those images and see them in action, right? Because currently, if you let me just put some hot video here. Let's just say image one, right? You are not going to put image one. There's going to be something that really describes the image. But for the sake of time, I will not be doing that. Then here we also have image two, right? So let's see what is happening here. If I decide to open this, we have the live server. Um, so you can see what we have now. This is broken, right? This two is showing this way. There's no poster to it. The images are not passed yet, and there's nothing to play. So I needed to show it like this so that you understand why the what I did, right? But the alt text is shown here so that we can know what exactly is going on. So let's make this work. So this needs the source to the image, and how you point to a particular source file is to actually use the relative path, right? Relative path. So what I mean by that is I'm going to say dot slash, which means I'm looking into resources that are directly in the root folder of this project. The root folder is tax3, right? Dot slash means items that are currently in the same directory with this index.html. And the items that are currently in the same directory with index.html is assets. So I can see it here, and that's what I'm going into asset. Then I want image one right here. I'll just say image one, and that's it. Right. So if I load that, I'm expecting to see that on the page. So you can see that now on the page. It's not styled yet, so the image is not going to look good until the style comes in. Then I also set this part to place, right? So we also have that. Then the next one also to the third one, place, right? So that's just to show you how to point to a relative resource, image and images, whether it's an image resource, whether it's a file, the JavaScript file, CSS file, or video file, right? That's how you work with that. Then let's also do for the video part. So for the video part, let's also pick a poster, dot slash assets poster. Let me look for okay, yeah, let's use this poster. So all of them are going to have that poster. So you can choose to change that. Here we have posters. So now if I go here, I should be able to see the poster. So can you see now? It's not styled again. That's why it's this big. But you can already see the control here. And the poster is there since the video element is not yet loaded. So now let's add the video element, right? Here we have the source attribute, which allows us to point to the MP4 video, right? Just say dot slash, I'm going into video assets, then I'm going into vid, right here, where I have it. So I can just say the camera video first. Then I can also set this one to dot slash assets, then vid, right? Then the coding. So I just want to represent all these first before duplicating them, right? Just for styling purpose. So let's just also put this here. This one is going to pick the third one, vid slash TNA, right? Then this one is going to pick vid slash true. And this one is going to pick vid slash media, right? And this one, don't forget to subscribe, right? Click on the notification bell and also on the like button. Let's see, this is also going to be media. Okay, I think I have media already. And this is going to be record. And the last one. So the last one is going to be v slash straight line, right? So those are the video elements that we want to present. And if I come down here, you just see that all these are here for you to work with, right? So for the what's it called now? For the gallery, so we have more than that, so that we just have enough to work with, right? Let's bring in other images. Again, for the sake of time, so that you don't keep watching me, right? Bring in other plenty images. I've shown you how to bring in 3, and that's the same way I'm going to bring it, right? So let me just bring that in quickly. So I brought in the other images, right? As you notice here. So it's still the same thing, not too different from what we have been doing. The same attributes are set on the video and the images also. So you can see them here, and they are not looking good. So that's also telling you something that you need to master CSS. So I'll be starting the CSS course soon. I expect that you'll also be a part of it, right? You can see that this is not looking good at all. And that's because this is just what HTML is all about. Render the content, give them semantic meaning, let the browser understand what it needs to do, right? That's all. But in terms of the visual skill and all that, that's the CSS. So now, in order to make this look good, again, our internal way of doing things, right? So the CSS code will come in here in the head section. Eventually, I will let you know that the best way to bring the CSS is from the external, to make it an external file that can be imported and used, right, in the head section, rather than just coding it here. This is also good if this is all we are doing, and that's all we are doing now, right? Style and the CSS file will come in, right? So what I will do also is, since this is the focus is just HTML, and we've done that, I'll bring in the style, right? And we'll wrap it up there. All right, so you can see that I've brought in the style now, right? It's something very small, but I'm using CSS grid here, right? I know that might not be clear to you here, but once you take the CSS sections, you get to understand that. So here is just setting the font family that should be used. So I'm using areas and set it as fallback. Then the margin, right, around the body, that's to the top, to the bottom, and to the right and left of 20 pixels. Then there's an image class I set, right, for the image gallery. Remember here, for this image gallery, where I have images, right? So these images are direct children of this image gallery. That allows me to actually use grid, right? CSS grid to control them. And that's what I'm doing here, display of grid. Then grid template. I'm just saying that the minimum size of each should be 300 pixels, and we should use the one fraction, right? As the unit of measurement for the maps. Then gap between each item in the gallery image should be 10 pixels. So again, if you don't understand all this, that will be clear to you eventually. So I'm also targeting every image element inside that so that they don't grow, because currently now we see that before I apply the style, the images are bigger, right? So I don't want them to stay fit into their content. And that's what it's doing, targeting the image and say that the width must be 100%, meaning that it shouldn't grow outside its content, then the height is okay and all that. So some animations here also, because you see here, that if I do this, there are animations here. So that's also what this part is doing. Both shadow around it, and animation transform 0.3 seconds. This image that's the behavior of the animation. This in gradually and also go out gradually. So then when I open on the image, you can see that I'm using some transform, CSS transform here to scale it. And that's why it grows bigger again and goes back, right? So all these things are CSS classes that you use to define the content of the page. Then for the video, also the same thing, I'm using grid, right? Then the video, for the actual video, so you can see that I'm also adding some animations here using transition and transform, right? Then for the figure, let me quickly talk about the figure. I'm going to even add the figure here. So for every video content, you can actually add figure, not just the video content, also the images. But let me just do one, right, for the for this one, for the video, just a figure, right? You will wrap the entire content in figure. So inside the figure, usually you will have the feed caption. That's very important. The feed caption. So just say feed caption. Right. So in between that feed caption is where you then place the content. So let's just say this one is learn to program or learn to write code. So that's the caption. Then the video that goes in there. So let's say we are picking the whole of this, right? We are taking it in there. So that's just how to do it. You should just come in. So if we go back to the page now, we are going to see that one of them is going to have that caption. Right? So you can see this here. Learn to write code. Right? So those optimizations that we did also, like the fallback poster, right? All of them have poster as fallback. Use it here, right? Then lazy loading too is enabled on the images. So if you want to add poster here too, you can also do the same thing, just like I did here. All you just do is say figure, right? Here you also have field caption. Just say let's just use the Caesar or salad, and that's it. So we can just bring in this into that. All right. So that's it. And when you come back here, you'll be able to see that. So that's it with working with images, right? And all that. Again, make sure you repeat this yourself because that's how you learn. These baby steps are very important, but there are things that make sure that you have solid foundation and you just go at it. Don't rush it. If you don't get it at first, make sure you just watch the video again, right? Again, thank you very much. Don't forget, I mean, to subscribe, right? And also, your subscription means a lot to this channel. It helps this channel to grow. And also, don't forget to turn on notifications so that you can be the first to be notified, right? When I have any new content coming out. Then also like the button so that others can also get to see this because YouTube actually uses the number of likes, right? To also make sure that this content gets to more people. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next section.